Hello fellow gamers, I'm Christopher Chrisman of Retro Game Network, and coming up next, a look at last week's retro video game news on the RGN files for the week ending Sunday, January 6, 2019. In the RGN files this week, the Video Game History Foundation has recently helped out with the preservation of a long-lost NES video game. This past August, the owner of a Seattle area video game store had stated that 2 copies of the rare and unfinished prototype of the 1991 NES title SimCity had been traded into the store. The game had been featured at the 1991 Winter Consumer Electronics Show and was planned to be a port of the popular Maxis game. The only time that the general public saw the game in action was on the television show Video Power. While a version was ultimately released for the Super NES, the 8-bit version had been thought long lost. At last October's Portland Retro Game Expo, the cartridges were auctioned off, with the video game collector Steve Lynn winning one of the prototypes. The Foundation had decided to release the ROM image of the prototype to the general public by means of the Internet Archive as a part of their open source media collection. The download gets you the digital ROM image of the game, a commented source, disassembly, the game's complete uninterrupted musical soundtrack in both MP3 and NSF formats, still images related to the game's marketing and development, alongside of a new game FAQ file in the PDF format. The added bonus features come to us courtesy of the hard work of Foundation supporter Sanchez, who has spent several months on the task, alongside of debugging and the implementation of various cut features. The download is available at the Internet Archive at no cost to the gamer, and is compatible with most commonly used NES emulation programs. Ricky and Vicky, a brand new independent game, has recently been released for the Steam platform and will also be getting a limited edition physical release for the Atari 7800 in the near future. This new action puzzle game, developed by Penguinet, offers gamers 6 colossal caverns alongside of 100 puzzles to challenge and master. It offers your choice of playing solo or with a friend, with each adventure being unique. It also features a dynamic difficulty that will allow you to play for the story or to just aim for the highest score that you can achieve. In the game, an unexpected visit from the Misery Dragon has left Ricky and Vicky with 2 less children and significantly more inconvenience. Only by mastering a multitude of problematic puzzles can they reach the core of Misery's secret base and rescue the Kinder. The cartridges of the upcoming 7800 version of the game will natively support both NTSC and PAL regions. Each cartridge will also include a special audio processor called the BUP chip. Differences between the releases include mono music and the lack of a high score save feature on the Atari 7800 version when compared to the Windows Steam version. The physical Atari 7800 version of the game will include a copy of the game on cartridge, a tour guide, as well as a box. The game will be limited in quantity, with only 550 copies being produced, with no pre-order window planned. Ricky and Vicky is now available for Windows-based computers via Steam for just under $10, and comes to the Atari 7800 in the first quarter of this year for a cost of just under $60. There are currently no plans to release the game publicly as a ROM image. A new cartridge has been developed for the Nintendo Game Boy that converts the legacy handheld into a wireless controller for a variety of consoles. The device, which has been in development since this past September, is called the Wireless Game Boy Controller, and is the creation of a man named Alex from Inside Gadgets. When the console is turned on with the cartridge inserted, the Game Boy runs the program code on the installed flash memory, in which the microcontroller reads the current button states and then immediately sends them to the receiver for execution. So far, receivers have been created to make the cartridge compatible with both Windows and Linux-based PCs, Raspberry Pi devices, the Super NES, and Nintendo's GameCube console. In addition, it also offers another rather unique function by using the built-in radio link to communicate with other Game Boy consoles that are running the same cartridge. However, this feature can only be used for games that have been specifically designed for the device, and original multiplayer games are thus not compatible with it at this time. The Wireless Game Boy Controller is compatible with the original Game Boy, Pocket, Color, and Advanced systems, and is being mass-produced by Inside Gadgets. Sets cost between $14 and $23, depending on the set or the features that you request. New shipments of stock are scheduled to become available on January 14th of this year. The latest episode of the Netflix original series Black Mirror, subtitled Bandersnatch, is a unique interactive experience that is disguised as a full-motion video game. Taking place in the year 1984, a computer programmer dreams of adapting a classic choose-your-own-adventure book called Bandersnatch into a new computer game. The author of the fictional Bandersnatch, Jerome Davies, is played by real-life video game developer Jeff Minter. As the deadline to deliver the game looms, with strange errors still present in the game, the programmer begins to feel that he is being controlled by outside sources, putting into question how much he trusts those in his life. An Easter egg was found recently within the movie, in which a new homebrew game for the ZX Spectrum computer has been released as a tie-in to the series. Netflix commissioned the creation of an actual video game called Nosedive, which was mentioned within the said episode of the program. This platform was chosen due to its popularity by UK audiences during the era in which the UK is the setting of the episode. By accessing the supposedly official website of the fictional company Tuckersoft, the final result is a fully playable version of Nosedive as programmed for the ZX Spectrum. The game's file is provided in a .tap format, which is compatible with most ZX Spectrum emulation programs and can also be transferred to actual physical media that can be used on original legacy hardware. A new homebrew title for the Atari 2600 called Daredevil is currently in the works, which hopes to bring a fresh take on the classic Atari game Parachute. The game is the creation of Atari Age 4 member Muddy Funster under his Muddy Vision game label. In Daredevil, you play the part of a parachutist who must make it to the ground successfully, all the while needing to avoid such obstacles as other airplanes and hot air balloons. In addition, landing in a circle will get you the maximum points possible, yet if you're going too fast, you will crater into the ground. The game also incorporates wind velocity into the mix, with a weather vane telling you its direction. The concept for the game came thanks to his recent play of Parachute, in which he had this to say about its origins. Quote, "Despite what I'd call some odd execution choices and grating music, the actual game kept me coming back for another go. I decided as a quick test, I pulled together a test bin to see if I could do something similar. That little test turned into a few late-night coding sessions over the holidays, and then into a full project," end quote. Muddy Funster has provided Atari fans a work-in-progress ROM image to download and test at no cost to them. There is currently no word on an estimated completion time for the final build of Daredevil, and there's also no word on if the final project will be sold on physical media upon its final completion. In other Atari 2600 related news, the holiday season may have come and gone, but that doesn't mean that your love for Christmas-themed games has to stop. Brian Matherin, the author of the Atari 2600 Homebrew Companion, has recently released a brand new entry in this book series for those that love the holidays. The Atari 2600 Holiday Homebrew Companion brings retro Atari fans a new publication for those that enjoy learning about original Atari VCS games and hacks of existing games that are also fans of the Christmas season. The book, which clocks in at a total of 390 pages, showcases 56 original homebrew titles and hacks that were released from 2001 to the current. Plus, for those that cherish the holidays with their family, the cover artwork of the book was also kept in Matherin's family as well, as it was designed by his daughter, who will be majoring in graphics design in the near future. The book was originally planned to be published around Thanksgiving, however was delayed several times due to situation beyond his control. Unlike the previous volumes, in which deluxe color editions were made available, this specific entry in the series is currently available for purchase in black and white versions only. The Atari 2600 Holiday Homebrew Companion is available in its Kindle version for just under $5, or on hard copy paperback for just under $19. The book is also available as a no-cost read for Kindle Unlimited subscribers. Super Quartet, a new homebrew title that is based on a recently released Android game called Kill Minds, is currently in the works for the Philips Compact Disc Interactive platform. The game is being developed by a programmer known as Game Blah Blah, who has previously released other independent titles, including Copyright Infringement, The Regressive Right for the ColecoVision, and Forbidden Love for Pebble-based smartwatches. In what is advertised as a unique puzzle game that will blow your mind, you earn points by filling the 4 available slots with different colored squares, and earn additional points by filling a slot with a single colored square. This new game, which hopes to breathe some new life into the CDI system, is one of the few homebrew titles that have been developed for the platform over the past decade. Back in 2007, an independent title called Frogbog was the last well-known developed homebrew to be released for the CDI. Presently, the game is a very early work in progress and currently lacks any sound effects or a soundtrack. The developer has offered a work-in-progress ISO image build that can be used on any standard CDI console after burning the disk image. There is currently no word on when the game may be completed or what the forms of distribution would be upon its completion. And finally this week, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2, has been maintaining its success as of the end of the box office weekend yesterday. After 7 weeks in theaters, the movie remains in the top 10 in the rankings, retaining its number 9 position from the preceding week. The movie has brought in a grand total of almost $405 million in total box office ticket sales, earning a total of nearly $230 million since its debut this past Thanksgiving weekend. This indicates that the movie has made more than double the budget back in profits, in which the budget was an estimated $175 million. Upcoming notable debut dates include releases in Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic on January 10th, a January 11th release in Poland, Romania, and Turkey, a German release on January 24th, and February releases in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and France. Ralph Breaks the Internet is Walt Disney Pictures' 57th full-length animated feature. That's it for this week's edition of the RGN Files. This is a reminder that our official radio program, VGM on FM, is currently on its winter hiatus and will be returning within the next few weeks. Details will be updated on our website at RetroGameNetwork.com, where you can also get complete details of any of this week's featured stories. You can also check us out on our social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Retro Game Network, and on Twitter and Twitch at RetroGameNet. For the RGN Files, I'm Christopher Chrisman. This week's news stories provided by the following: Ars Technica, Atari Age Forums, Box Office Mojo, Brian Matherin, Forbes Magazine, Gaming on Batteries, Hack-A-Day, Inside Gadgets, the Internet Movie Database, the Philips CDI Zone Facebook page, Retro Gaming Magazine, Retro Magazine, the Video Game History Foundation.